From electric pickups that lose $60,000 in 5 years to a $70,000 sports car that barely depreciates, the Chevy lineup tells wildly different stories once you actually do the math. We are counting down all 10, from worst money pit to smartest pick. Number 10 is the Chevy Silverado EV. On paper, this is the future of trucks. It's electric, it's quiet, and it gets up to 450 miles of range. The problem is what happens between the day you sign and the day you sell. A loaded Silverado EV that sold new for $96,000 in 2024 is already trading for around $61,000 in 2026. That's a $35,000 nosedive in 24 months. Kelley Blue Book puts the full cost to own at nearly $130,000. The truck loses about 74% of what you paid for it just to depreciation. And I will be straight with you, I genuinely do not know who this truck is for at sticker price. It weighs nearly 9,000 pounds, which destroys the 24-inch wheels every 30,000 miles at $500 a corner. Throw in 7 NHTSA recalls in the 2024 model year alone, including one that requires replacing the entire rear drive unit. You are looking at the most expensive way to own a Chevrolet that has ever existed. No fuel savings on Earth can outrun a $61,000 value drop. And that's not even Chevy's worst electric launch. The next one was so bad they had to shut the dealer doors completely. That title goes to number 9, the Blazer EV. Chevy launched this thing in December of 2023, and going in, I actually wanted to like it. Then they immediately stopped selling them after the very first batch of reviewers got stranded by 23 fault codes, dead infotainment screens, and software that bricked the car mid-road trip. Edmunds said their long-term tester had the longest list of faults they'd ever recorded. The shutdown lasted 11 weeks. Sales never recovered. Just 482 units moved in all of 2023. And now the resale price is brutal. IC Cars says the Blazer EV holds just 37% of its value after 5 years. One forum post showed a 2024 model with 3,000 miles changing hands for $27,000 against a $47,000 sticker. That's a $20,000 loss before the tires even got rotated. The 5-year cost of ownership lands around $80,000 on what's basically a 2-row crossover. When your truck gets pulled from dealer lots a month after launch, nobody wants to buy it used. That's the EV graveyard behind us. Now let's look at something with a big V8 under the hood that should be a lot safer. Except it isn't, because number 8 is the Chevy Suburban. This is where it gets weird. If you actually do the math on dollars per butt in the seat, the Suburban beats every other big SUV. At 8 seats, it works out to about $10,700 per seat over 5 years, which is somehow cheaper per person than the smaller Traverse. So why is it ranked this low? 2 words, lifter failure. The Suburban is the worst rated full-size SUV in Chevy's lineup on RepairPal at 3 out of 5. And it is caught right in the middle of a big lawsuit over collapsing lifters in the AFM and DFM 5.3 and 6.2 V8 engines. Owners are getting hit with $7,000 to $8,000 for lifters and a cam, and $12,000 to $15,000 for a full engine swap. I worked on a 2022 Suburban last month. The owner thought he had a misfire. He cracked the valve cover off, and 3 lifters were already collapsed. The quote was $12,000. It was out of warranty, and the owner ended up selling the truck. That's the reality with these engines right now. Add in the federal recall covering 22,000 Suburbans for bad connecting rods, and the average owner is gambling every time they turn the key. Cheap per seat means nothing when the engine grenades itself out of warranty. And speaking of grenades, the Suburban's smaller and more popular brother is sitting on the exact same recall list. Number 7 is the Chevy Tahoe, same body on frame as the Suburban, same engine options, and the same disaster waiting to happen. The 5.3 V8 burns about $13,000 in gas over 5 years at normal mileage. The 6.2 version burns even more, closer to $14,000, and that's the engine that landed in NHTSA recall 25 V274. 44,000 Tahoes are part of a recall covering nearly 600,000 vehicles total, 28,000 engine failures, 14,000 propulsion losses, 12 crashes, 42 fires. The official fix from Chevy is mostly just switching to a different oil weight. That's it. But then NHTSA opened a follow-up investigation when 36 engines failed again, even after the recall remedy was done. I had a guy roll into the shop last spring with a 5.3 V8 that wiped its cam at 68,000 miles. He had done every oil change at the dealer. The recall fix did not matter. The whole short block was toast. Out of warranty, you are looking at $10,000 to $15,000 for an engine replacement. When the recall fix does not actually fix the problem, you are not buying a truck. You are buying a coin flip. At least with the Tahoe, you know what you are signing up for. The next Chevy crossover is so new, nobody actually knows how bad it might get yet. Number 6 is the Chevy Traverse. The 2024 redesign threw out the proven 3.6-liter V6. They replaced it with an all-new turbocharged 2.5-liter four-cylinder that makes 328 horsepower. And I'll tell you right now, I don't trust a brand new turbo four-cylinder pulling a 4,800-pound family SUV. Never have, and I never will. The early warning signs are already there. General Motors has issued a warning for valvetrain ticking from debris in the lash adjusters, those little parts that keep your valves quiet. Plus another warning for oil drain plugs being installed wrong at the factory. That last one is a slow leak that can kill a turbo if you miss it. Consumer Reports is already tracking transmission rebuilds on 2024 RS trims at 6,500 miles. RepairPal ranks it 22nd out of 26 in the midsize SUV segment, and the previous generation transmission cost owners $6,000 to $9,000 to replace. That's not a small surprise bill, that's a sell the car and walk away bill. The 5-year cost lands around $76,000, but the real cost is the unknown. A brand new engine and a brand new transmission in a giant family SUV, that's exactly how the second owner gets wrecked. That brings us to the halfway mark of the list and to the best-selling Chevy in America, which sounds great until you see what they're putting under the hood. Number 5 is the Chevy Silverado 1500. J.D. Power's 2026 reliability rankings put the Silverado second overall, beaten only by the Ram. That's the headline. Now here's the twist. IC Cars ran the numbers, and the Silverado 1500 has the worst 5-year depreciation of any major full-size pickup on the road. Worse than F-150, worse than Ram. Roughly 40% of value vanishes in 5 years. And the 6.2-liter V8 is the recall engine, accounting for over 100,000 Silverados in that same federal campaign with the failing engines. The good news is you do not have to buy that engine. The 2.7-liter Turbomax 4-cylinder and the 3-liter Duramax diesel are both outside the recall, both more fuel efficient, and the Duramax knocks 5-year gas costs down to under $11,000. Buying the wrong engine turns America's best-selling pickup into a $56,000 mistake. Quick favor before we keep going. If this is the kind of breakdown that saves you from a 6-figure mistake, subscribe so the next one shows up. Now back to it, because from here on out, the list actually makes a lot more sense. The next 4 Chevys are reasonable picks if you choose carefully. Starting with number 4, the Chevy Equinox EV. This is where the math gets weird. The Equinox EV has the cheapest 5-year energy cost of any compact crossover at just $3,000. Maintenance is dirt cheap, about $2,400 over 5 years. Compared to the gas Equinox, you save roughly $5,000 in gas and $2,200 in maintenance. But then depreciation eats 57% of the value and wipes out every dollar of those savings. The 5-year total cost lands at $55,000. And there is a fresh problem. In January 2026, General Motors recalled 102,000 Equinox EV units for a software bug that causes the car to suddenly lose power. California consumer protection lawyers are already running ads at these owners as we speak. The cost to drive it is genuinely great, but only if you buy it 2 years used and let someone else eat the depreciation. Buy it new, and you are paying for the privilege of being a beta tester. If you are driving any of the next 4 Chevys, drop the model and your mileage in the comments. I want to see what the long-term picture really looks like out there. Funny enough, the gas version of this exact same SUV ranks higher. Honestly, surprised me too. Number 3 is the Chevy Equinox. Consumer Reports gave the redesigned 2025 Equinox its recommended badge, then yanked it right back in December of 2025. First-year owners were reporting transmission failures at 187 miles. Fluid leaks from bolts tightened wrong at the factory, and active noise cancellation was tuned so badly that it created an 86 decibel boom at 1500 RPM. The 1.5-liter turbo is the exact same engine they used in the last generation, which means it brings every old problem with it. That includes LSPI, piston cracking, turbo failure, and a known cylinder 2 coolant leak that costs $2,000 to $3,000 to fix out of warranty. So why is this ranked number 3? Because even with all of that, the 5-year cost is just $49,000 total. Gas is cheap, insurance is cheap, depreciation is rough, but manageable. The cheapest way to own a Chevy crossover is still cheaper than almost any electric anything in the lineup. But if you thought the Equinox was the budget play of this list, wait until you see what costs even less. Number 2 is the Chevy Trax. The Trax is the cheapest Chevy you can buy new, starting around $21,000, and it earns its keep. The 5-year cost of ownership is $45,000, the lowest in the entire Chevy lineup, 30 miles per gallon combined. Gas costs of just $7,400 over 5 years. Insurance is under $1,500 a year. Kelley Blue Book puts the Trax in the top 10% for cost to own in the subcompact SUV segment. But there's an asterisk. The 1.2-liter 3-cylinder is the target of a big lawsuit filed in March of 2026, claiming the connecting rods are failing way too early. The guy who filed the lawsuit had his engine destroy itself at 11,500 miles. The wet belt timing belt design is supposed to last 150,000 miles, but most independent shops will tell you to replace it at 60. Skip that service, and you are staring down a $7,000 engine. For 5 years of ownership, nothing in the Chevy lineup is cheaper than the Trax. But if you keep it 10, the math gets terrifying. Which brings us to the number 1 Chevy to own. And I promise you did not see this one coming. Number 1 is the Chevy Corvette. Yeah, you heard me right. A $70,000 sports car is the smartest financial pick Chevrolet sells today. This is the one Chevy I tell every buddy of mine to actually consider buying brand new. According to iSeeCar's April 2026 study of 950,000 used cars, the Corvette holds 81% of its value after 5 years. That's the 3rd best of any vehicle you can buy in America, beaten only by the Porsche 718 Cayman and the Porsche 911. The depreciation is just $13,000 over 5 years, less than what a Silverado EV loses in 12 months. Kelley Blue Book has named the Corvette the number 1 sports car for resale value 6 years running. Yeah, the insurance is high. Yeah, the dual-clutch transmission has a warning for over-torqued fasteners that GM is paying to fix for free through May of 2026. Yeah, premium gas adds up. But none of that matters when the car barely loses value in the first place. The Corvette is the rare Chevy where the badge on the hood actually protects your wallet. So there is your full ranking. And looking across the whole list, one thing is clear. The Chevys actually worth owning right now are the boring ones. The base trims, the carryover engines, the unloved subcompacts. The Chevys losing the most money are the ones GM put on billboards. The giant electric trucks, the redesigned full-size SUVs, the trucks with engines blowing up in federal investigations. If you are buying a Chevy in 2026 and you do not want to feel stupid about it in 2031, the strategy is simple. Pick against the marketing. Drop a comment with which Chevy you are driving so I can see the survivors. But before you click away, do yourself a favor and watch my video on the hidden Chevy features you will regret not knowing about when you go off-road. There are buttons, settings, and modes hiding in your Silverado Tahoe in Colorado that the salesman never showed you. Skip that one, and you will be the guy who destroys his transfer case on a fire road this weekend because he did not know which mode to pick. See you over there.